Good morning and welcome to the Tuesday, January 30th meeting of the Board of County Commissioners. We do begin our meetings with an invocation, and today Commissioner Gonzalez will lead us in the invocation. Please join us if you would like.
Lord God and Father above, we thank you for all the great gifts and love you provide us, and we ask for a blessing upon those here today and upon our community, and that we do great things in your name, and we ask for wisdom that we make smart decisions for our community, and in this we pray. Amen.
And Chuck Broerman, would you please lead us in the pledge? County Treasurer.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And just for a matter of record, it looks like we have Commissioner Vanderwerf joining us online. Wanted to make sure he can hear us and we can hear him.
Good morning, Madam Chair. I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you very much. Item number 3.
Item number 3 is staff emergency items, and I'm unaware of any staff emergency items today.
Item number 4.
Item number 4 is changes, postponements, and notice of the next meeting. I'm aware of a few changes to the agenda today. Item number 7A is withdrawn and no motion is required. And then we will have an executive session request under item number 12, which will be read into the record at that time. The next meeting will be Tuesday, February 6th at 9:00 a.m.
Thank you. And no actions needed for those changes?
No action required.
Okay. Item number 5.
Item number 5 is the consent calendar consisting of items 5A through 5L2.
Are there any members of the public wishing to speak on items 5A through 5L2? Hearing none in the room. Are there any online? Okay. Up here for discussion and or motion.
Move to approve item 5A through 5L2.
Second.
That has been moved and seconded. I'll call the roll, and we'll start with Commissioner Vanderwerf.
Aye.
Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Aye.
Commissioner Geithner.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. The consent calendar passes 5-0. Item number 6.
Item number 6 is comments by elected officials and commissioner liaison reports.
Okay. I understand that we do have a countywide elected official here who will make some comments, but he would like to do that at the end of hours. So Commissioner Williams.
Yes, good morning. It is wonderful to be here as always. I did want to bring a couple items to your attention. So last Saturday, I had the opportunity to go to the Monument Fire District and participate in a push-in ceremony. I never knew what a push-in ceremony was. It was quite fun. They were able to purchase a wildland fire truck and a new ambulance. Their ambulances last for about 5 years. A push-in ceremony is where after the firemen in the old days went out to fight the fire, they had to take the horses to the stable first. And after they put the horses in the stable, they had to push in the fire trucks. And so me and a couple kids, after they put the truck in reverse, of course, a couple of young kids pushed the fire trucks into the station. It was very, very enjoyable. The second, I did want to recognize, and I was a bit frustrated by a radio report I heard this morning that there were 3 service members who died yesterday, and they are, oh boy, it cut me off. They're from Georgia. One was from Waycross, Georgia, and they died in an attack on their ship, and one was Brianna Moffett, and I'm sorry I'm not able to say the names because that was the important thing. I was disappointed when I heard the White House announce that these are folks who died and that they died serving President Biden, not serving the United States of America. the important thing is these are military service members who are serving their country, not their president. They may be there because their president has ordered them to be there, but they are serving their country. It was a highly offensive way for the press secretary at the White House to call them folks after they've given their lives in service of our country. And so I wanted to thank them and their family members in Georgia for their distinguished service to our country. I think that's very important. Otherwise, on my schedule this week, I have the Statewide Transportation Advisory Committee on Thursday, and a few other meetings, including on Friday. I'll be giving a short speech at the Tri-Lake State of the Region. They have an economic specialist coming from Denver to speak for the whole time. So I'm excited to attend that. That is always a very well-attended and energetic event. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Vanderwerf, are you ready?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Madam Chair. Just making sure that you can hear me, but I think you probably can.
Yes, we can.
Okay, very good. So my apologies for not being in the office this morning, but I have a slight sore throat and a little bit of congestion. I did test for COVID and it's negative, so it's just a head cold. Sometimes I feel excellent, and then in a few other moments in between those, I don't feel so excellent, but I'm online here, and it's just wonderful the way technology can work. I did want to mention that I will be meeting, assuming I'm feeling better tomorrow, I'll be meeting with a few folks in the office tomorrow, including the chair of the Planning Commission. That was something that we had put together as far as a plan. And then I'll be departing on Thursday, again, depending on how I feel, out to Seattle, Washington. I'll be attending the board meeting for Angel Flight West, which is one of the nonprofits that I work with, and also to visit family while I'm out there. And then on Monday next week, I do plan on going to the NORAD Northcom Change of Command ceremony. Really looking forward to that. And then we will be back to our regular BOCC meeting on Tuesday next week. And so I have a fairly light schedule, and that's actually fortunate considering that I'm a little bit under the weather. One last thing that I'd like to mention is that I'm sure the other commissioners make some comments on this, but we continue to have legislation coming down from Denver that just continues to violate the things that we keep fighting for. One of those being unfunded mandates to local government, and the other one taking local authority away. We do have some onerous bills with regard to Second Amendment rights, and there's probably a lot more coming. I imagine some of my fellow commissioners will comment on those further, but we're going to continue to fight those on behalf of the citizens of El Paso County to ensure that we remain free as we need to be. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Gonzalez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I too want to remember the 3 service members who lost their lives several days ago, and pray for their families and for the quick recovery for the dozens of additional soldiers who were injured in the attack. As a military retiree member myself, I too I see it as an insult to hear that the Biden administration says they will not tolerate attacks on U.S. personnel, but have been tolerating dozens of attacks by Iranian-backed groups for the last several months. Again, I pray that we actually see some forceful response to our unacceptable attacks on U.S. military members. Thank you.
Commissioner Geithner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate my colleagues also mentioning the service members who were lost, and I do appreciate that Commissioner Williams wanted to read their names, so I do have them here to read. So we had Sergeant William Jerome Rivers of Carrollton, Georgia, Specialist Kennedy Layden Sanders of Waycross, Georgia, and Specialist Brianna Alexandria Moffett, 23 years old, of Savannah, Georgia. And they were all killed in that attack in Jordan. And I appreciate all the comments that have been made. They were appropriate and accurate. And I think in addition to that, I will say also as a spouse of a service member, we obviously have so so many of our board and our staff who have served previously and those who continue to serve. And it is upsetting to watch the number of attacks. I think I heard the number of attacks at 160 in the last few months on our forces. And I believe that this is a direct result of weakness. When we are not strong, we cannot deter these attacks. And it's just too important. Our servicemen and women are too important to play politics with foreign countries that have terrorists willing to do us harm. It's too important that we stand up and show strength. And I think that this administration has failed to do that. It's disappointing to me. And I hope that we're going to learn something. And so that their lives will not be lost without moving forward. But I continue to be concerned at our lack of response. I also want to point out a couple of things. Commissioner Vanderwerf mentioned the legislature. There continues to be legislation being talked about in our state legislature. One of the bills that came up yesterday, and I watched some of the comments from the House floor, is very directly related to what we do here. I've spoken in the past about the changes the Biden administration has been trying to make in regards to foster families making statements or being forced to affirm different gender identities and things to become foster parents. So that was happening at the federal level, and now our state has jumped right on ahead and decided that it's that they'd like to go ahead and do that even without the full extent of the federal changes. And so yesterday that bill was heard on the House floor. We had many people speak out about how we would shrink the number of foster families in a situation where we already don't have enough foster families. And there are many communities of faith that take on that role, and we are looking to essentially eliminate those folks from being able to serve as foster families over what I will just plainly say is woke ideology. It's ridiculous, and we are damaging our nation, we are damaging our kids, and we are certainly creating situations where we will not be able to take care of the kids who need care because of these quite frankly, insane practices that we have radical left agenda going on both at our state and at our federal level on this issue. So very concerned about that as it continues to make its way in. I'm very interested in taking a strong opposition to this bill that would do damage and specifically to what we do here in El Paso County. But on the good news side, I was encouraged to see one of the things that we've worked on with the Pikes Peak Promise was truth in sentencing, essentially making sure criminals are serving out their full sentences. And that's something that the community came together, both with the DA's office, the sheriff's office, other business owners, understanding that crime impacts all of us from a safety perspective, but also from an economic perspective. And part of the Pikes Peak Promise was trying to get the state to actually keep people in prison when they have been sentenced, instead of letting them out on less than 50% of their time served. And so while we talked about that from a legislative perspective, it looks like a bill title has been pulled on that. And so there is some conversation around how we make those changes in our state. So it's a little bit of good news that I will be continuing to watch closely.
Thank you, Commissioner Geithner. And you've heard a lot today about the federal implications on the local level, the state implications on the local level, and I wanted to talk about something that we just can't avoid talking about around here, and you can't look at the news today without wondering what the impacts locally will be. The primary job of any elected official is to conduct their duty under the law and protect the citizens. In the United States, elected officials swear an oath to the Constitution and the laws of the land and are bound by that oath. My colleagues and I all take the oaths we swore seriously, and we have and will continue to serve our constituents through upholding those oaths. Sadly, the President of the United States has failed to uphold his oath to enforce our immigration laws and protect American citizens. Last year alone, it's estimated that over 3 million people illegally crossed the borders into the United States. Given current rates, President Biden will have let in 10 to 12 million new illegal immigrants into the United States in his first term. Illegal immigration is not a problem with no solution. Under the previous president, illegal immigration rates plummeted with policies such as Remain in Mexico and more strict enforcement of the law, and those policies worked. As a result of the failure in leadership of the current administration, the United States is seeing a surge in illegal immigration unprecedented in our history. And when border states could no longer handle the surge, they began sending these migrants to cities and municipalities who had historically declared themselves as sanctuary cities for those here illegally. Unsurprisingly, these sanctuary cities quickly realized that their policies were impractical and destroying the ability of these cities to provide services to their legal citizens. Now cities like Chicago, New York, and Denver are saying they can no longer absorb the same migrants they formerly supported illegally crossing our border. So what's next? As former sanctuary cities are beyond their capacity, it's only logical that they will turn to those of us who did not cause the problem to alleviate the pain caused by policies they supported. And this will not come as a kind request. It will likely come as buses in the middle of the night dropping off unwanted immigrants, illegal immigrants, into our community. I want to be perfectly clear. El Paso County is not and will not be a sanctuary county. This board has made that statement officially before. We support enforcement of our immigration laws, and we believe the president has completely failed our citizens in protecting our southern border. His actions have turned Colorado effectively into a border state. And while we did not create this problem, nor did we support the policies that did, we will unfortunately have to bear the consequences should the inevitable happen. And our job as your county commissioners will be to protect the citizens of El Paso County and to work within the framework of the law to mitigate the damage done by the breakdown of the federal government. As such, we will be evaluating all options and assessing the other governmental entities that we work with to determine what options are available to best protect El Paso County citizens. And with that, are there any further comments? Item number 8. Oh, actually, we have, thank you, Commissioner. We are not yet done with elected official comments. Do we have any other elected officials in the audience that would like to address us at this time?
Madam Chair, fellow Commissioner Chuck Broerman, El Paso County Treasurer, just a few remarks. One, I share and extend my condolences to and sympathies to the military men and women who served their country, the ultimate sacrifice for our values and beliefs of this country. And I do believe that, like President Ronald Reagan said, we will know peace through strength. And I think those are wise words. With respect to our office, you may have seen in the news, due to some recent legislative changes, tax statements are delayed with the resounding defeat of Proposition HH. Governor Polis called a special session at the end of November to address the rising property tax rates that many citizens are seeing in Colorado. They passed what was, I consider, the son of HH, but with that late passage, it extended the timelines for all the work that needed to be done in order to send tax statements. The assessor had to reassess values and get that to the various geopolitical entities to recalculate their tax and mill levies and then confirm that with the assessors, who then have to do their work to roll up those numbers and then to transmit that tax warrant over to our office, which we received late last week. So we're at the end of the hopper. We're the last in line, so we now need to bring up the rear and get the work done. So we have been busy since the 24th, double checking those numbers, as did the assessor. We want to make sure it is right with our new property tax collection system. We want to make sure everything's right. We've tested it thoroughly, but we do want to make sure it's correct. We can't get that wrong. So we've been busy this week. So tax notices, we're planning on to go out the middle of February. That was our plan a couple weeks ago. We're running a couple days ahead, so we think we'll be able to get those out a little earlier. However, that did not change by law the deadline which we have to pay those taxes. It is still, if you wish to pay once in one payment, it is still April the 30th. If you choose to do in 2 installments, it is still February 29th, which is one day later this year because we have a leap year. So February 29th for the first half, and then in June 15th for the second half. So did not change the deadlines, unfortunately, for those. We have approximately 284,000 statements that have to go out. Our mail vendor, once we get that, all our checks done late next week, we'll be giving that to our mail vendor, and then we'll be mailing those out. So apologize for the lateness, but it's all, we're doing our very best to get it to citizens as soon as possible. So willing to take any questions you may have.
Thank you. Are there any questions? I have one quick one for you.
Okay.
What are the methods by which people can pay those taxes if they're not doing it through a mortgage?
We have many options. Thank you for asking, Commissioner Bremer. You can do the traditional form of paying by check. You can pay online through a credit card. We also have a voice service that if you call our phone number, you can get and select the option that you do it over the phone with an attendant. So you have various methods by which you can do it. We also have the option, if you don't want to wait for the mail to arrive in your house, on the 9th of February, we'll have that data up for your property. So you can click on there and have an electronic statement emailed to your inbox. So I want to encourage more and more people to take advantage of that. They can shortcut that mail service by going onto our website on the 9th and then clicking on that and getting that tax statement generated and sent to you electronically.
Excellent. Any further questions? Commissioner Williams?
And will we be doing a press release on that February 9th date when we can click on that?
If you would, yeah, I think that probably would be a good idea for me to add that. I think that's a great idea.
Yes, that would be helpful.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good idea. I will also add that while statements are going out a little later, about 2 out of every 3 homeowners have a mortgage, and they have an escrow that is being taken out of their monthly mortgage payment. So we will be putting that up at the end of this week. Mortgage companies have a provider that services that, and they go to our website and pull that data down and make that payment. So for citizens that have a mortgage, rest comfortable. Your mortgage company will make sure that there is timely delivery of that tax payment.
Thank you. Any further questions?
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us today.
Okay.
So item 7A has been withdrawn. Item number 8.
Item number 8 is public comment on items not scheduled on the agenda. This is the public's opportunity to speak on an item that is not scheduled on today's agenda. And Madam Chair, I believe we had several people sign in ahead of time.
Excellent, thank you. If we have anyone here wishing to speak on any item not on the agenda, I would just ask that you approach the microphone, state your name clearly for the record, and your 3 minutes can begin.
I don't believe in microphones, if you don't mind.
Sir, you have to speak into it so it captures it on the record. I'm so sorry. Thank you.
Yeah,
My name is Dick Hageman. I live at 8855 Hardin Road in the Black Forest, directly across the street from the school in the woods. I moved out there initially because the realtor told me that land across the street is state land. Section 16 never be developed. Nothing will ever happen. That was a plus for buying my house out there. 2 weeks after we moved in, bulldozers show up knocking trees down, double wides on the hangar behind them. I called a realtor, "What's going on, Harry?" He says, "I don't know. I'll call you back." 2 hours later, he called me back, says they're building a school called School in the Woods over there. For fourth graders, it's going to be an ecological school so they can brainwash them at an early age. He didn't say that, I did. Well, through the years, the traffic has increased exponentially on Vollmer Road. I lived directly across the street from the school on Hardin Road, named for the Hardin family who've been there since 1938. And I have seen the traffic increase at the school. There's going to be a problem there. It is going to happen. It almost happened to me last Thursday. They had their choice day when parents and kids could come out there and go through the dog and pony show across the street to see if they wanted to go there and be accepted. They have to be accepted. You just don't bring your kid out, say, "Here he is, take care of him." Well, my wife and I went to dinner up at Monument that evening at about 3. We left at 3:30 in the afternoon. There wasn't anything going on. We came back at 5:30, coming down southbound on Vollmer. Are you all familiar with the School in the Woods? You know where it's at? You know what the road looks like. You come from the north, you come over a hill, and boom, here's the school. There's only 4 signs up there that pertain to that school. Big yellow signs say, "School ahead." No speed limit. Where's the school? You can issue a traffic ticket for going over the speed limit, but it's thrown out because there's no signage there for a school. It just says "School ahead." These people are coming down that road. I stood over there you remember October, we had a lot of rain. I stood over there while it was raining one day. The road was wet, and the sheriff had their radar machine out there. I see 63 miles an hour coming over that hill down towards the school. There are anywhere on a good day 30 to 35 belly dump trucks, tandem axle dump trucks, lowboys with graders and scrapers and excavators on them going up and down that road. They come down with 100,000 pounds on those lowboys. They're not going to stop if something's going on at the school. There's no reason for them to stop. Thursday, they had their choice day. My wife and I are coming home. We came home. There's cars on both sides of Vollmer parked in the ditch, right up against the asphalt. There's cars south of the school parked in the ditch. We live, coming south, we live on Hardin Road. You want to turn left into Hardin Road. There's cars all the way down Hardin Road and around the corner, which is about 400 yards. Is that my 3 minutes?
Yes, sir, that's your 3 minutes.
Something's got to be done because somebody's going to get hurt. Why can't we be proactive instead of reactive? One
Thank
more
you,
thing.
sir.
Rich Payne works for District 20. He's the head of safety and security. I've been talking with that man for over a year about it. He has offered to hire off-duty policemen to come out with their cars and turn their lights on when the school has a special event. People will obey those lights. They will not obey anything else. Now, I suggest you get a hold of Rich Payne. He's an awesome guy. His kids went to school out there. Somebody's going to get hurt. My wife tried to turn in. We couldn't come down our road because so many cars were there. It was a single lane road. You could not get a fire truck down that road. We had
Sir.
a hard time getting our little SUV into our driveway. We had to wait. And some yo-yo came down from the north behind us, pulled over across the double yellow line, went around us through the middle of all these people walking back and forth across the road.
Thank you
Went
so
on down the
much
road.
for coming to let us know about these issues today. I think that Josh Palmer, our traffic engineer, is here today, and he is probably able to speak with you about some specific things that have been done and can be done. I think that I've been told that this summer, once school is out, that our Department of Public Works will be installing dual turn lanes, and that will help with as you crest over the hill. But there are lots of things. Thank you for bringing this to our attention today. I've said it a lot, we rely on neighbors to tell us how things are working or not working
Do I
in
have
their
to come back
neighborhoods.
here every
So
week
thank
and
you
get
for
my
being
3
here
minutes
today.
every week?
I'm sorry.
Will I have to come back here every week and get my 3 minutes every week to find out what's going on?
I think we're aware of the issue, and we'd love to work with you on it.
They also say it's
Thank
going to be
you.
a 4-lane road all the way to Hodgen.
Are
I'll
there?
be cremated before that'll happen.
Thank you,
I'm sorry,
sir.
ma'am. I appreciate the time you've
Thank you.
given me. I'm sorry I ran over, but somebody's going to get hurt. I've been
Thank you.
involved in a T-bone accident in Burgess. A guy pulled right out in front of me one night, a teenager. I thought it was a 4-way stop. I hit him. He went across the street, hit the car going the other way head on.
Are there any other members of the public wishing to speak to us today on any item? Thank you, sir. Any item not on the agenda?
I officially signed in. Okay, there it is.
State your name and.
My name is Maggie Mae Stone. My husband and I live on Vollmer Road in Black Forest. We've lived in Black Forest for more than 30 years. I've been trying on the same subject for nearly 2.5 years to find out when somebody is going to give a damn about the kids at school in the woods and put up speed limit signs. I've talked to over 24 people from El Paso County Commissioners to El Paso County Sheriff's Department to all over the school district to state agencies to Pioneer Sand with all the big trucks. Nobody has done anything. Nothing. Zero. Zilch. Those kids are sitting in a school zone, double yellow line, no passing zone on a regular day, and in a school zone. If you slow down because you know that the speed limit is supposed to be 25 miles an hour in a school zone, they'll blow your doors off. Most people in town would expect that the El Paso County Sheriff would give them a ticket, but they do not, because they cannot enforce school zone speeds because there is no signage. My husband and I offered to purchase 2 black and white signs to put on either side that says 25 mile an hour. Nobody has done anything or acted with any interest. El Paso County Sheriff's Department, 3 different deputies told me at 3 different times over a 1.5-year period, nothing will change with the commissioners until someone dies. And then we had Doherty High School, and somebody died because of a lack of signage. How much does 2 25 mile an hour speed limit signs cost? I don't know that, but it's got to be less than $1,000, which is what we pledged. So that's why I'm here. I've written letters to the editor. I've been on KKTV. I've contacted everybody that I can think of, and everybody always says El Paso County Commissioners are the people who are responsible for making sure that the correct people get it done. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there anyone else wishing to speak on any item not on the agenda today? Thank you very much. I think I am going to request, Brett, that we have some staff follow up directly from administration.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner. Yeah, we'll have Mr. Palmer follow up with you. We have taken this seriously. I have met with and discussed this with Rich Payne and know him. We understand the significance of this. We appreciate you coming in. Mr. Palmer will follow up with you directly on some of the measures we have taken and will take on this area. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Commissioner Williams.
Yeah, I do have a comment because I've talked to Mr. Hageman before, and I know that we have plans for Volmer this summer. I think it would be worthwhile to speak to the principal or the school board of District 20 and ask them if they can hold their annual events for choice at Pine Creek High School instead of School in the Woods, because they're getting overwhelmed with traffic on those evenings, and it's just not fair to the residents there, and it's not frankly fair to the parents or the children's safety when they have these choice events on every January. So there's also the ongoing daily problems, but those are going to require bigger efforts than I think just them holding their event at a different location.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for the comments. I know we have been doing some, trying to address some issues related to that area. I would say as a customer service, if you have received any emails or responses that indicated the commissioners were unwilling to do something, please send those to me. I want to see that if that's accurate, because I would want to look into that. Thank you.
Okay.
And when I say look into it, not that commissioners are not looking into it. Somebody would say that to you. I want to know that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any other members of the public wishing to speak on any item not on today's agenda? In the auditorium and online? Hearing none? Okay. Item number 9.
Item number 9 is the called up consent calendar, and there are no items called up today.
Item number 10.
Item number 10 is department and committee reports, non-action items, and there are none.
Item 11.
Item 11 is the addendum, and there are no addendums today.
Item 12.
Item number 12 is the executive session, and I will defer to the county attorney for that.
Madam Chair, if I could read a quick statement into the record. Pursuant to CRS 246402 subsection 4B, the county attorney's office is requesting an executive session to provide legal advice regarding services that El Paso County offices, agencies, or departments are obligated to provide to undocumented immigrants under federal, state, and local laws, rules, and regulations.
Do I have a motion to go into executive session for the items, for the reasons stated on the record?
So moved.
Second. Excuse me, second.
That has been moved and seconded by Commissioner Geithner. I will call the roll, and we will start with Commissioner Vanderwerf.
Aye.
Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Aye.
Commissioner Geithner.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. That passes 5-0. We will go into executive session.